The pod that crashed into Earth didn't carry a Saiyan. It carried a god. The night Goku should have arrived, Kal-El landed instead. No battle hunger, no Saiyan pride. Just a child who would grow stronger under a yellow sun, without limits, without transformations, without ceilings. Dragon Ball's universe expected a warrior who loved fighting. It got something terrifying, a protector who never needed to try. Years passed. Power levels became jokes. Ki blasts bounced off his chest. Gravity rooms felt like playgrounds. God started watching Earth early, because something there broke their rules. Superman didn't scream to transform. He didn't chase power. He simply was power. When the Saiyans finally came looking for Kakarot, they didn't find a brother. They found Wall. And the Dragon Ball universe learned the difference between breaking limits and having none. The pod fell from the sky without warning. No alarms rang across Earth. No energy signals disturbed the fighters who trained in distant mountains. No master sensed approaching danger. The metal shell simply cut through the atmosphere like a whisper, trailing fire across the night sky before crashing deep into farmland far from any city. Inside the pod was a baby, but not a Saiyan baby. There was no tail wrapped around his small body. No violent energy pulsed through his veins. No genetic programming screamed for conquest and battle. The child simply lay there in the wreckage, eyes open, watching the strange new stars above him with calm curiosity. The yellow sun rose hours later. Something changed in that moment. Something the universe would not understand for decades. The light touched the baby's skin, and deep within his cells, a process began that defied everything this universe knew about power. Jonathan and Martha Kent found him that morning. They were simple farmers, good people. They knew nothing about aliens or warriors or galactic empires. When they saw the strange pod buried in their field and the baby wrapped in unfamiliar red cloth, they did not think about danger. They thought about miracles. Martha lifted him gently. The baby did not cry. He looked at her with eyes that seemed too aware for an infant, and something passed between them that words could never capture. "We should call him Clark," she said softly. Jonathan nodded. "Clark Kent, our son." They never reported the pod. They buried it deep beneath their barn and never spoke of it again. In their minds, the boy had simply arrived when they needed him most. The universe had other plans. Clark grew up slowly and strangely. He looked like other children. He played like other children. But small differences appeared early. At 3 years old, he lifted a fallen tree that blocked the road to their farm. At 5, he ran faster than their truck without breathing hard. At 7, he fell from the barn roof and laughed because the ground had not hurt him at all. Jonathan taught him to hide these things. "People fear what they don't understand, son," he said one evening, watching the sunset together. "You're special, but special can be dangerous if the wrong people notice." Clark listened. He always listened. He learned to move slowly when others watched. He learned to pretend that heavy things were heavy. He learned to lose races on purpose and miss catches deliberately. Every day was a performance designed to make him invisible. But power does not stay hidden forever. At age 12, a truck lost control on the highway near their farm. Clark saw it happen from 3 miles away. He heard the driver screaming. He heard the family in the other car praying. He moved. The world blurred around him. Distance became meaningless. He reached the accident before the collision happened and stopped the truck with his bare hands. Metal crumpled. Glass shattered. But no one died. Clark disappeared before anyone could see him clearly. That night, he sat with his father in silence. "I couldn't let them die," Clark said quietly. Jonathan put a hand on his shoulder. "I know, son. I know." They never discussed whether he was right or wrong. Some questions had no answers. This Earth was different from other Earths. Fighters existed everywhere. Martial artists trained in mountains and deserts, pushing their bodies beyond normal limits. Masters gathered students and taught them to control energy called ki. Tournaments decided the strongest warriors. Power levels measured potential. The greatest fighters could destroy cities with single attacks. but they followed rules. Ki could be sensed. Power could be measured. Growth required suffering and near-death experiences. The universe operated on a simple principle. Struggle created strength. Clark broke that principle without knowing it. He did not use Ki. His power could not be sensed by any technique. He did not grow stronger through battle or pain. The yellow sun simply fed him endlessly, and his body adapted constantly, becoming more efficient with every passing day. Master Roshi noticed something wrong first. The old martial artist sat on his island one evening, drinking and watching the waves. Suddenly, he felt pressure. Not Ki pressure, something else entirely, like the weight of a mountain that made no sound and cast no shadow. He looked toward the mainland with worried eyes. "What are you?" he whispered to the wind. The wind did not answer. Clark became a protector without announcing himself. He finished school. He traveled the world. He saw suffering everywhere and could not ignore it. But he also remembered his father's warnings about fear and attention. So he worked quietly. Planes that should have crash landed safely when impossible winds corrected their paths. Earthquakes that should have destroyed cities somehow weakened before causing damage. Fires that should have spread died suddenly without explanation. Ships that should have sunk found themselves pushed ashore by invisible currents. People noticed the luck. They talked about guardian angels and divine protection. But no one connected these miracles to the quiet farm boy from Kansas, who now worked as a journalist in the city. Clark liked it that way. He saved thousands without anyone knowing his name. He stopped disasters without fighting. He protected without conquering. The world became safer, and no one understood why. King Piccolo emerged from his prison expecting to conquer the world. He was ancient evil, pure demonic power wrapped in green flesh and dark ambition. He had terrorized this planet once before and planned to do so again. His power exceeded every fighter alive. His cruelty knew no limits. He lasted 3 days. Not because someone defeated him. No battle occurred. No warrior challenged his throne. Piccolo simply felt something watching him. Every time he moved to attack a city, the feeling intensified. Every time he gathered power for destruction, pressure built around him like invisible walls. He could not identify the source. His senses found nothing, but his instincts screamed warnings that grew louder each hour. On the third night, Piccolo stood on a mountain and screamed at the sky. "Show yourself. Face me like a warrior." Silence answered. Then the pressure doubled. Piccolo fled into the shadows that same night. He abandoned his conquest without explanation. His followers scattered in confusion. The Demon King, who should have ruled the world, simply disappeared. Deep in a hidden cave, Piccolo meditated for years. He was not training to return stronger. He was hiding. Raditz came to Earth expecting an easy mission. His scouter told him a Saiyan infant had been sent to this planet decades ago. A low-class warrior named Kakarot. The mission was simple: find his brother, recruit him for their cause, and move on to bigger conquests. The scouter malfunctioned the moment he entered the atmosphere. Numbers flickered wildly. Readings made no sense. Sometimes they showed 0. Sometimes they showed infinity. The device sparked and died before Raditz landed. He crushed the broken machine and flew toward the strongest energy signature he could sense. He found nothing. For 3 days, Raditz searched the planet. He found fighters, yes, humans with surprisingly developed ki. A Namekian hiding in the mountains. But no Saiyan, no Kakarot. Then he found Clark. The man stood in an empty field, waiting. No power radiated from him. No fighting stance. He simply watched Raditz approach with calm, steady eyes. Raditz laughed. "You're not Kakarot." "No," Clark replied. "My name is Clark." "Then you're in my way." Raditz attacked without warning. His fist moved faster than sound, carrying enough force to shatter mountains. He had killed thousands with lesser blows. This human would die before realizing the attack had begun. Clark caught the punch with 2 fingers. The shockwave flattened the landscape behind them. Trees exploded. The ground cracked for miles. Raditz felt his bones vibrate from the impact. Clark had not moved. "Please leave," Clark said quietly. Raditz screamed and attacked wildly. Every technique he knew, every dirty trick learned through years of slaughter. He moved faster, hit harder, pushed beyond his limits. Nothing worked. Clark stood there absorbing everything. Attacks that could destroy moons bounced off his skin without leaving marks. Energy blasts dissolved against his chest. Speed meant nothing when he could catch every strike without effort. The fight ended with a single tap. Clark's finger touched Raditz's forehead gently. The Saiyan flew backward so fast that he escaped the atmosphere before losing consciousness. His pod was waiting in orbit. Clark placed him inside carefully and aimed it toward deep space. No killing, no cruelty, just removal. Raditz drifted away from Earth, carrying a warning he could never forget. Do not return. Vegeta received the transmission 3 weeks later. Raditz's message was broken and strange. Half the words made no sense. The fear in his voice made even less sense. Saiyans did not fear. Saiyans conquered. Whatever had beaten Raditz so completely that he fled must be extraordinary. Vegeta smiled. Finally, a challenge. He brought Nappa with him. 2 Saiyan elites against whatever monster protected that worthless planet. Overkill probably, but Vegeta wanted to enjoy this. Their pods landed on Earth in the middle of nowhere. Clark was already there. No dramatic entrance. No power-up sequence. He simply stood waiting. Red cape moving gently in the breeze. Like he had been there forever. Like he would always be there. Vegeta stepped forward, smirking. "You're the one who scared Raditz." "I asked him to leave," Clark said. "I'm asking you the same thing." Nappa laughed loudly. "This guy? He's got no power level at all." Clark looked at Nappa. The giant Saiyan dropped to his knees instantly. The ground beneath him cracked. His lungs compressed. He could not breathe or move or think. Gravity itself seemed to have chosen him as a target. Then the pressure vanished. Nappa gasped for air, eyes wide with terror. Vegeta's smirk disappeared. "What are you?" he asked quietly. "Someone who protects this planet," Clark answered. "Leave peacefully and no one gets hurt." Pride refused to let Vegeta retreat. He attacked. The Prince of Saiyans moved with everything he had. Speed beyond comprehension. Power beyond measurement. Technique refined through a lifetime of warfare. He struck Clark from every angle, every direction, every possible approach. Clark caught his fist casually. Vegeta struggled. He pushed harder. His power exploded outward in desperate waves. Clark held him effortlessly. "Is that all?" Clark asked. Vegeta lost control completely. He unleashed his most devastating attacks. Energy beams carved canyons across the landscape. Explosions lit up the sky. He sacrificed technique for pure destructive output, throwing enough power to crack planets. Clark walked through it. Every blast, every beam, every desperate technique. He just walked through it like pushing through light rain. Then he struck once. One punch. Not full power. Probably not even a fraction of his full power. Just enough to end the fight. Vegeta slammed into the ground so hard that the impact registered on seismographs worldwide. The crater stretched for miles. The Saiyan Prince lay at the bottom, broken and bleeding. Clark floated down and looked at him. "Go home," he said. "Don't come back." Vegeta's pod activated automatically, responding to his fading life signs. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was Clark standing motionless, not even breathing hard. He had never lost before. He had never even imagined losing like this. Frieza controlled most of the known universe. His empire spanned galaxies. His cruelty was legendary. He destroyed planets for entertainment and murdered entire species when they bored him. No one challenged his rule because no one could survive his wrath. When reports about Earth reached him, he grew curious. Scouters failed around that planet. Saiyan warriors fled from it. Energy readings made no sense. Something existed there that defied normal understanding. Frieza wanted it. His armada arrived with thousands of ships. Enough firepower to destroy solar systems. Enough soldiers to conquer civilizations. He came prepared for war. He found something else. Clark met them in space. Not with an army, not with weapons, just himself, floating among the stars, watching the fleet approach with patient eyes. Ships began crumpling inward. Cannons melted before firing. Engines failed without explanation. Soldiers found themselves gently pushed back toward deep space, unconscious but alive. The entire invasion force was neutralized without a single death. Frieza watched from his command ship, genuinely impressed. "Marvelous," he said. "Absolutely marvelous." He stepped outside into space, power radiating outward in waves of purple energy. Cold void meant nothing to him. He could destroy stars with his bare hands. Whatever this creature was, it would learn to kneel. "Let me show you true power," Frieza announced. He attacked. Death beams screamed across space. Transformations multiplied his strength. Forms he had never revealed to anyone emerged as he pushed beyond every previous limit. Energy output that could erase galaxies focused on a single target. Clark let it all hit him. Then he grabbed Frieza's face. They crashed onto a nearby moon, the impact splitting it in half. Frieza fought desperately, every technique, every transformation, every dirty trick accumulated over centuries of tyranny. Nothing worked. Clark did not escalate. That was the terrifying part. No matter how much Frieza pushed, Clark responded with exactly enough force to contain him. Not more, not less. Perfect control. The fight ended when Clark created a gravitational prison around Frieza's body. "You've hurt enough people," Clark said. "That ends now." He threw Frieza into deep space, trapped in gravity so dense that even thought slowed down. The tyrant would drift forever between stars, conscious but helpless, a monument to consequences. No dramatic death, no glorious explosion, just removal. The galactic empire collapsed within months. Beerus woke from his long sleep troubled. Dreams had plagued him for centuries. Visions of a figure standing beneath a yellow sun, power overflowing without destruction, balance without chaos. A being who did not seek godhood, yet somehow transcended it. "Interesting dreams," Whis observed. "You talked in your sleep." Beerus growled. "Take me to Earth." They arrived without warning. Divine energy pressed down on the planet like a cosmic thumb. Oceans churned. Mountains trembled. Every fighter on Earth collapsed under the pressure. Except one. Clark stood calmly, watching the god descend. Beerus studied him with ancient eyes. "You don't feel like anything." "I'm just me," Clark replied. "Let's test that." They clashed. Not with fists at first, with concepts. Destruction pressed against endurance. The authority to end existence met the refusal to yield. Dimensions trembled. Reality itself seemed uncertain about which principle would win. Then they fought physically. Beerus moved with power that shattered universal constants. Clark matched him without escalating. Every divine technique met perfectly calibrated resistance. Every destruction attempt found something that simply refused to be destroyed. The battle lasted 3 seconds. Beerus stepped back, laughing. "You don't oppose destruction," he said. "You outlast it." "Fascinating." Whis smiled. No key, no divine energy, just pure adaptation. "Remarkable." Beerus looked at Clark seriously. "You could challenge the gods if you wanted." Clark glanced at Earth below. "I don't want to rule anything. I just want people to live safely." Beerus yawned. How boring. He left without destroying Earth. That decision shocked every god in existence. Zeno summoned Clark directly. No warning, no invitation. One moment Clark stood on Earth. The next, he floated before the Omni King in the highest realm of existence. 2 small figures with blank expressions watched him with curious eyes. "You said no to our tournament," one Zeno said. "We want to know why," the other added. Clark spoke honestly. "Erasing universes for entertainment is wrong. Those are real people, real lives." The Grand Priest tensed. Angels froze. No one spoke to Zeno like that. Zeno tilted his head. "Wrong." "Yes." "What if we erase you?" Clark considered the question. "I don't know if you can." But even if you could, that wouldn't make it right. Silence stretched for eternity. Then Zeno laughed. "We like you," both voices said together. "You're interesting." The tournament of power was canceled. Clark returned to Earth, and reality continued. But the universe understood something new now. The highest authority had met something it could not simply dominate. The rules had changed in ways no one fully grasped. Years passed differently after that. Clark remained. He helped. He protected. But he also learned to step back. Constant salvation created dependency. People needed room to struggle, fail, and grow. So he intervened only when existence itself faced threats. Heroes rose to fill the space he left. Piccolo became a teacher. Human fighters reached new heights. A generation grew up believing in possibility rather than fear. Clark watched with quiet pride. He stopped asteroids, stabilized fault lines, prevented extinctions. But he let people solve their own problems when they could. The universe stopped testing him eventually. Not because it accepted him, because it understood. Clark was not a warrior seeking glory. He was not a conqueror building an empire. He was simply a constant, a fact of existence. The sun rose, gravity pulled, and Clark protected. That certainty changed everything. Something ancient noticed Clark long before he noticed it. Beyond the multiverse older than gods, a presence had watched his journey with patient interest. It existed outside time and causality. It remembered when the first universes sparked into being and would witness when the last ones faded. It finally spoke to him. Clark found himself pulled somewhere else. Not another dimension, not another timeline. Somewhere outside those concepts entirely. The presence showed him truths without words. Universes rise and fall endlessly. Gods are temporary. Struggle fuels existence. But constants are rare. Beings who persist without seeking power, who remain without demanding worship, who simply exist as anchors for reality. Clark understood. He was not supposed to be here. Wrong pod, wrong planet, wrong universe. But accidents sometimes become necessities. The presence offered him a choice. Become eternal. Exist forever as a pillar of reality, detached from mortal concerns, ensuring stability across all existence. Or remain himself, finite in identity, infinite in consequence. Clark thought about Earth, about Martha's smile and Jonathan's quiet wisdom, about children who looked at the sky without fear, about the simple beauty of wheat swaying in the wind. "I choose them," he said. The presence accepted his answer. Clark returned home. The universe continued. Threats emerged and were handled. Heroes rose and fell. Civilizations expanded across the stars. Time moved forward as it always did. Clark remained, not unchanged. He grew. He learned. He adapted in ways even he did not fully understand. But his purpose never wavered. Centuries passed. He watched the people he loved grow old and die. He grieved. He continued. New generations knew him only as legend, then as myth, then as simple fact. The universe aged around him. Stars that burned when he arrived began to die. Galaxies drifted apart. Entropy increased its grip on everything. Clark stood at the edge of existence as the last light faded. The ancient presence returned. It asked nothing. It demanded nothing. It simply waited. Clark understood what was needed. He stepped forward, not as sacrifice, not as ending, as continuation. Reality stabilized around him. The end became a pause. Entropy slowed, not forever, but enough. Because once, long ago, a universe built on endless escalation and constant struggle had learned something new. Power does not need to scream. Strength does not need to conquer. And hope does not need to transform. Sometimes it simply stands there and refuses to fall. The end.